You got challenges that you're going to run across.
Well, absolutely. To be able to go through the ups and downs, the trials and tribulations, all the no's that I've heard throughout my career in racing. I mean, all the no's, the very few yeses. The most important thing I mentioned before was passion. If I didn't have a passion for racing, if I wasn't bit by the bug and knew this is what I wanted to do with my life, I would have probably very easily given up and realized it wasn't for me, that, a black man wasn't supposed to be out there racing. But I never took no for an answer. I kept trying to find another way. If I couldn't get through the front door, I went around through the back. You got to have the passion, because what the passion does is it gives you the drive, the motivation, the ability to keep getting up the next morning when you were knocked down the night before, when you thought things were going to go your way and the air was let right out of the sails and you're starting over from square one. I have so many stories where that has happened, but I've gotten back up because I knew what I wanted to do with my life. I knew what I was given a gift to do and what I had to see through. It was on me. It was my responsibility. I had to do it, despite all the things that tried to, keep me down or knock me down. I kept, dusting myself off and kept coming back. And my book, Winning in Reverse, is not a racing story. I want to make this very clear to your listeners. It is a motivational memoir. Wow. With a racing backdrop. That is what it is. The keys that I identify are applicable to anybody, no matter what it is that you're trying to achieve. They apply. Take these tips and these tactics and these skills, apply it to whatever it is, no matter what you're trying to do, or no matter how old you are, whatever your walk of life is. This stuff is applicable. This stuff works. I mean, for me to do this at 40 years old, to be a professional, starting out at 40, when most professional race car drivers are retiring at 40, I have a lot to say. The book is...
Your book is on your website, right?
That's right. It's at BillLester.com or Amazon.com, 5-star rated.
Okay, great. Did you ever meet Dale Earnhardt?
I met Dale Earnhardt Jr. and was good, and am good friends with Dale Jr. But Dale Sr. passed at Daytona in 2001, right before I started my my NASCAR career. My first full year in NASCAR started in 2002. So I watched Dale Earnhardt, but I never got a chance to meet him. However, I was in the stand.
You got him, Mikey. You got him, man. You got him. Come on, man. Come on, baby. Come on. Get him in the four. Get him in the 3-car down. Oh, big trouble. Big wreck behind him. Beat him back. Come on. To the flag. Come on, Mikey. You got it, man. You got it.
Wow. When I was researching a little about you, going through, I saw the 15-minute story on him, and I saw the accident, and it didn't seem like it looked like he would jump out the window. You know what I'm saying? Like the other guy did. The car didn't flip and all that kind of stuff. What did they say happened? He had a heart attack or something?
No, not at all. What happened is that he was so familiar and comfortable with the fact that the race was about to end. They're coming almost down to the last lap, that he started to loosen his belts, his seat belts, because he thought, basically this is it. My son's going to win and I'm going to finish well. So
I just hope Dale's okay. I guess he's all right, isn't he?
You okay? You okay?
Saw the crash and saw the cars sitting over there and saw the ambulances and everything, and it looked really dramatized and really dramatic looking, and it just looked odd.
And for whatever freak reason, he crashed into the wall, and he suffered what's called a basilar skull fracture, where his neck snapped forward.
This is undoubtedly one of the toughest announcements that I've ever personally had to make. But after the accident and turn 4 at the end of the Daytona 500, we've lost Dale Earnhardt.
And he broke his neck. It was as a result of his accident that NASCAR created the Hans device. They basically funded and researched and brought forth what's called the Hans device. It stands for Head and Neck System. And what the Hans device does, it's a collar that you wear that affixes to your helmet and is secured by your shoulder straps. So it is fixed by your straps as they're locked down, and it makes it so that your head can only move so far forward, a short distance. you can't go all the way down like he did, so that you can't break your neck. And I'm here to tell you, Tony, if it wasn't for the Hans device, I wouldn't be here today, because I suffered a crash in 2004 at Texas Motor Speedway where I went into the wall at 160 miles an hour.
Truck. Carl Edwards will probably thank him later for that.
Carl Edwards. Big hit. That was Bill Lester, I believe, in the 22. Bill Lester hits hard. Travis Kvapil goes down pit road. David Rudiman and Chad Chaffin also involved. Bill Lester's truck comes to a stop just in front of the grandstands.
But I was wearing the Hans device, and they also created what are called the softer walls or safer barrier, where there's an impact zone where you're not just crashing into concrete walls, you're crashing into an absorption structure.
Moments ago, Bill Lester was able to climb out of the 22 Toyota on his own power and walk to the ambulance. And so very good news that Bill Lester okay with that very hard hit.
Because of those two things, I was able to exit my vehicle and get in the ambulance and, head to the hospital, only because I suffered a concussion. I didn't realize that I had crashed. If it wasn't for the fact that I looked at the videotape after my incident, I would have never believed that when I came to rest on the track, that I dropped the window net, I took off my helmet, I put on my cap, I got out of the vehicle, I waved to the fans, and I walked into the ambulance.
J.R. Patton was able to get out of his truck and went to the ambulance under his own power, as did Bill Lester in the number 22 Toyota. And this is a testament to the safety equipment now on these vehicles.
Yeah, Chad, as Rick mentioned, the safety paraphernalia, the head and neck restraints these drivers have. There's another view of it. Watch, he pulls up on the inside, gets loose on the bottom of the racetrack. We've seen it happen so many times. He takes the front end of David Rudiman's truck. They both make hard contact with the safer walls. That's what's critical is that all these racetracks now are installing safer barriers. That's where they hit. That would help. All the head and neck restraint systems help. The headrests in the trucks help. I tell you, I would have hated to see what would have happened 5 years ago with impacts like these drivers take.
I don't remember any of that.
Wow. Well, Bill, man, look, you blessed. I appreciate this time, man. I really appreciate the time that you've given me. I didn't know I was going to be doing a podcast when we first met at the speaking class, but with Steve Siebel. But I really appreciate you doing that, really. Thank you for spending time with us. And when we come out, I'll make sure I send you everything so you can take a look. You know what? Last question. This I ask everybody. The greatest, Michael Jordan or LeBron?
Michael.
Okay.
The reason why, is because I never, ever saw Michael quit on his team or himself. I've seen LeBron quit. I've seen it where his team was down and he just knew it was over and that was it. Michael never quit.
Wow. All right. Thank you, man. We out of here. We'll talk later. Tell your wife thank you for letting us borrow you for an hour.
Sounds good, Tony. I appreciate it, man. Take it easy.
Make sure that you like and subscribe and hit the all button and all that kind of stuff, because we're going to have a lot of good interviews on this podcast.